Hi, my friends. Leo Babauta from Zen Habits here. Good to be here with you. Today, I'm going to talk about clearing out a bunch of tasks and emails and messages if you've fallen behind, which is actually most people most days, right? But recently, the reason why this is applying to me is, last week I had my birthday week. So you're watching this in the future, but I just turned 52. My mom joked that I'm playing with a full deck finally. And so had a birthday week, a little bit of less work because it took time to spend time with family. But at the same time, I also had some nights of not great sleep, which meant I didn't really concentrate well. And so I gave myself a little bit of rest last week. And then we also had like something, I had a personal thing that happened that took up a few days of time. And so basically, like I had more than a week of either very little work getting done or none, which meant I came back this week uh, with a huge pile of things. So I felt much more rested, which is a good thing, able to concentrate, unlike last week. But I had this huge pile of tasks. And so I tackled it over the last couple of days. It's not completely cleared out, but it never will be. I hope. I hope I never have a day with like nothing on my plate because I want to keep doing this meaningful work, like making these YouTube videos, for example. But I want to talk about how I actually conquered that pile, how I decided to take that on because I think it's really relevant to a lot of people who have a lot of stuff and they're behind and they want to like start to get on top of things. Now, I will say that there isn't a permanent state of now I'm on top of things. I don't have to worry about this anymore. So that's the first thing is that it's not a permanent state, it's a temporary state. So we get on top of things, we get ahead, or we like, feel like we're like slightly above water, and then we go underwater again. And so it's just like, it's a cyclical thing. And I actually don't think that there's a problem with that. I like to get on top of things, but I also don't think that that's the only thing in the world that matters. You know, taking some time to celebrate with family for my birthday, taking some rest days when I didn't get good sleep and couldn't concentrate, dealing with personal like issues and leaving work to kind of pile up. I actually think that those were the right decisions, but the consequences on this side of things on this week, I'm well rested. I've dealt with things, but I have these piles, and so I feel that's a worthy trade-off. So I wanted just to like say that we don't always have to be on top of everything. We can let things kind of fall apart a little bit. It gives a lot of us a sense of anxiety and overwhelm, and that does come up for me. But I just wanted to first of all say it's not a thing where you're like, I did it, now it's conquered. It's a mountain that you're climbing that, has no top. You keep climbing for the rest of your life. But second of all, I also think that we associate being behind or having a huge pile of things with something wrong. Like there's danger or we're failing or there's some kind of failing that in us. And I think that's a mistaken view, or at least it's not a helpful view. What I like to do is just think like, hey, sometimes things pile up just like, sometimes the wind blows, right? Like I'm not going to complain because I have a hugely windy day. Just go and pick up the branches off that fell off the trees. Sometimes the leaves fall from the trees, certain seasons, right? And that's a cycle of life. And so I think just like that, sometimes our things pile up, our tasks and our emails. So I think it's really important to have that frame of mind. It's like, it's okay to let these things happen. And it's okay if we fall behind. We don't have to panic. We just have to come up with a plan. Okay, so what is that plan? So I came back Monday and Tuesday, and even today to some extent. I decided to prioritize, like starting to um, tackle some of these things that I'd fallen behind on. So I made some focus sessions. Okay, let's, do it with others or do it on my own. But some of the focus sessions with others, I said, hey, I'm going to just focus on getting ahead on these tasks. And I started just tackling them one by one. Is there a certain order that I tackled them? No. I started going through my email inbox, cleared out all the easy stuff, so triage, cleared out all the easy stuff, and then took the stuff that are going to take longer and I put those on a task list, and that left me with some medium stuff. And so I just started tackling the medium stuff over the course of an hour and did as many as I could. So I triaged all the easy stuff, put the hard stuff on a task list, cleared out the medium stuff. The medium stuff takes 2 to 5 minutes, right? So some easy, simple stuff. Sometimes 10, but I just started tackling them one by one. Sometimes it was a little financial task. Sometimes it was a quick reply to someone that took me a couple minutes. Sometimes I had to go get some information and then reply to someone. And so there's all these little things, right? And so I started tackling what I think of as the medium emails. And I didn't finish all the medium emails. There's probably still another like 10 in there. But I started taking those a little bit at a time. And that leaves me with the big tasks. And so now I have a task list with things from my emails, but also things from my regular work, things that I didn't get done last week. And so I have this big task list. And so even there, I did some focus sessions. Let me try and tackle, 2 or 3 of those tasks per hour. And I did them, in that hour, I try to do 2 or 3 things. They might be 20 or 30 minutes each. Sometimes a thing takes an hour, but for the most part, I was tackling things that were like 20 or 30 minutes each. And I just did them one at a time. And there's this idea that maybe there's like an idea that you should have them all done, but that's not the case. All I can do is one at a time. And so I just started doing them one at a time. The other part of my strategy or tactics is that I took little breaks. And so I would do a task, go get some water, come back, do another task, stretch and walk around, do another task. Then I might take half an hour off. So I'm not just like cramming, like jamming everything all at once. And I did that for most of the day on Monday and Tuesday. And then today's Wednesday, and I still have a few things left on my list, and I'm tackling those as well. This video is actually one of them. I was supposed to have done it yet last week, and I didn't. That's okay. Like, it's not the end of the world if I don't shoot a video. But I'm doing it now, and I'm really happy about it. I have a few more another video like this for YouTube, and then a couple more shorter ones that I'm going to do. And if I can do those today and a couple more medium tasks, I'd be really happy. I feel like my list will be in a nice, manageable place. So first day, I think I focused more on the smaller tasks and medium tasks. Second day was medium and some bigger ones. And today is more bigger ones with some medium ones. The rest of the week, I'd like to continue. So stay on top of the small tasks, don't let those pile up, but work on those medium and big tasks. And I think by the end of this week, I will be in a pretty manageable place. That doesn't mean my list will be cleared or my inbox will be cleared. It's not a goal of mine to clear out my inbox completely. But I would like to answer people who've been waiting for a reply. I would like to take care of some of the tasks that have been piling up. And I still have a few more. I still have a good handful of things to do in my inbox and my task list, and I'll keep working on those. Maybe I won't get them all done. I have a trip next week towards the end of the week, and so my idea would be to get as much as I can done within the next week so that I can go on the trip and feel good and then come back with a nice pile of things to conquer once again. And I think that's okay. I'll come back and I'll do the same exact process. Triage my inbox, put things on my task list, conquer some of the medium things, now do the bigger things and some more medium things, and just keep working at it in that way. So there's nothing revolutionary about this. I just thought I would talk to you about some of the things that I'm doing because, well, first of all, I get to check this video off of a list. Yay. But also, I think this is useful. I think that a lot of people deal with falling behind on things for of various reasons. You get a cold or a flu, you have to take care of somebody who's sick, you have to go deal with a family crisis, you travel, things take longer than you had expected, and so other things are piling up. You know, you don't get good sleep and you can't concentrate. You decide to celebrate or take a day off, then you come back and things are piled up. And then this is the way to do it. So to summarize, I like to triage. I clear out all the little things that don't need to be there in my inbox. Check, kind of like get things in a little bit better order. I take the big tasks in my inbox and in my work messaging system, and I put them onto my task list. I start to order the task list in terms of priority. That's one thing I didn't mention. So I'm like, okay, it'd be nice to have these 5 things done before these next 5 things, before these next 5 things. And then I go back into my email inbox and I start conquering some of the 2 to 5 minute tasks, maybe 10 minutes at the most. And I give myself some focus sessions for those. I do take breaks in between focus sessions, so I'm not just working straight. And then I start tackling some of the bigger tasks. Again, those are like 20 or 30 minute tasks, sometimes an hour, and come back to some of the medium tasks. And again, I work in chunks and I have some breaks and I might do some focus sessions with other people. But for the most part, I feel pretty empowered as I keep making the progress that I'm making. Feels really good to be like clearing through things. Like my life starts to feel taken care of. Okay, that's what I've got for you today. I'd love for you to leave a comment. Let me know, how maybe you have some tips that you've been using to deal with this kind of stuff. Maybe you have a question for me. I love the comments. I love the questions. I use them, the questions and suggestions for future videos. So please keep those coming. And then subscribe to the channel if you'd like to have more of this content. I'd love to build a community here on YouTube. So if you subscribe, that really encourages me to keep making this content. I actually really have loved the interactions that I've gotten. I've done some YouTube lives. I've gotten some good feedback from people, and we're starting to grow to a decent community here in YouTube. And so be a part of the Zen Habits community, subscribe, and share this with someone who could use some Zen habits in their lives. I'm Leo Babauta, saying goodbye, wishing you a joyous time clearing through your tasks. Bye, my friends.